Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Rainer and today I will be releasing a new version of the Neverwinter Character Builder Plus version 0.5. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you would like to see more information on videos about Neverwinter, hit the subscribe button. So the last version that I released was 0.4.15, so we're going to actually increase by one subversion instead of a subversion, and that has a reason, and I will get to that in a second. Of course, we're going to go through the changes via the change tracker, which I like to keep up to date so you guys know what is going on in the character builder. So let's go through the changes. The first change is the Frozen Storyteller's journal description. Apparently, and someone mentioned this to me, the description was wrong in the old version, and actually I think the description of A Tale of Dimis was the same as this one, or I skipped one. Anyway, the description was wrong. It's not that stats were wrong in here, it's just that the description was wrong. So I fixed that. Then also artifact related. Before, when you selected something here and selected something somewhere else, there was no way of removing it anymore, and that was a little bit annoying because for endgame builds, typically you want to leave this slot free. You want to cap your stats without your active artifact because this one will be typically assigned to you, and so you cannot rely on the statistics from this artifact. There was a way around this, removing it via the save file, but that was a little bit of a hackery hack. It should be just possible to remove it. So I just added the reset button here where you can remove an artifact just like that. Easy peasy. So then the red pub companion, somehow I forgot to add it. I think I also added to the Pocket Wiki. Of course, there's a lot more stuff coming up with and mod 19, which I cannot tell you much about, but there is stuff coming up, of course, with every mod. And also with the Rage of Bell, there's a lot of new stuff. I haven't added that yet, but I will. Don't worry. And that will be in the next version. So it's not in there just yet. Also because there are a lot of new rings, and I don't know which rings, because they're random and they're not in collections. So I will have to figure that out first. Then we come to the reason why we have a new subversion. I've actually implemented the set and equip bonuses. It took a while. It was less work than I thought it would be. I've only implemented, of course, the set bonuses that just give you flat statistics or negative flat statistics. So if we load a build here, let's do this one, for example. No, this one is Heels of Fury. 1 second, loads. Let's take this one. Yeah, the Rusted Iron Leggings. That one I was looking for. You see the equip bonus, Gluttonous Might, adds 5% damage and removes 25% incoming healing. Those 25% incoming healing were actually not removed by the character builder before. But if you go to player stats now and you go to incoming healing, you will see at the bottom it says plus minus 25% Gluttonous Might. So it's actually removed now. So it's more correct. And that is, of course, true for more equip bonuses. There are some like this one. When you're in combat with one enemy, your power is increased. Of course, this is not added yet because this is not out of combat and it's relying on something else. So I only added the statistics that you will always have. So for example, for set bonuses, some weapons give you flat statistics. We have some equip powers that always give you stats or negative stats. You have the all switcheroo was some kind of equip bonus that removes some stats and adds some other stats, stuff like that. But the Rusted Iron Leggings are probably the most important one in the equip bonuses because most people will be using that if they have it. Then we come to the set bonuses. also here, there weren't that many set bonuses that give flat statistics, but of course, one that a lot of people are using and which didn't work yet in the builder are of course the Tales journals, the Tales books. They did not work. So the Tales books, what they do, they have a set bonus that they add one attribute point to all of them. If you have two, I think two. Let me see. So if I add a darkened, for example, you don't get anything here. Then we add an envenomed. Yeah. And then you get attributes. There is an issue with these bonuses from the envenomed of the storyteller journals, and that is that all of the bonuses, all of them that you have on here are given to you twice. I don't know why, but for some reason you get everything twice, and that's true for these attributes. So you don't get one per attribute but two, and you can see that the bottom set bonus you get two of each. And also what these do, if you have two or more, is give you hit points, and you can see that at the bottom, Storyteller's Journal, it's 10,000 per journal if you have two or more, and not 5,000 per journal. And power you get 1,000 per journal instead of 500 per journal. So that's also correct. And if you add more, of course, if you add the flates, you get the same amount of attributes, but you get 30,000 hit points and 3,000 power. And if you add a fourth one, frozen, you get 40,000 hit points and you get 4,000 power. So yeah, it's pretty darn strong. And what I could tell is that somehow adding these journals gives a little bit more variation, but it's all below 5. All of the stats are still within 5 accurate, so it's minimal, the difference. And this was just very important to add for me, because a lot of people are using these, and it's just, it has to be in to be accurate, because otherwise everything is just off, especially because of these attributes. So that's why we went to version 0.5 here. We added now the most important things, and I think all of the basics are in there. At some point I'm going to add in the more complicated equip powers and set bonuses with some kind of scenario editor where you can say I'm in combat or not, I have this much stamina, I have this much action points, I'm in combat with this amount of people, etc, etc. So you can actually see what your statistics will be when you're in combat. So that would take it one step further. Before we go there, so those were the set and equip bonuses. I also added a combatlog parser, and this is basically, I added this because we're testing, as most people will know, the new trial on Owlbear. I'm not going to say any specifics about that, but the combatlog is just a very important aspect in analyzing content. It will show you exactly what skills are being used, what the damages are of everything, etc, etc. The combat log itself is not super readable. I can open it real quick here. I'm just opening an old one, of course, not from the trial. So here you can see what it looks like raw. Some people can read this, but it's not very convenient. So yeah, I wanted to make this into something nicer. Of course, you can load this into ACT, but also ACT, in my opinion, the way the information is spread through ACT, in my opinion, is not very nice. Sometimes you have to search multiple instances of a person or character, and the data is just spread around too much. So I like to have everything nicely together in one overview. Of course, I use Excel often for that. So what I made is a combatlog parcel that you can find down here. and I already filled in the information, but you can select a file. If you want the file from the Neverwinter directory, they are under Cryptic Studios, Neverwinter, and then you have to go to live, I think, if you are on the live server, which most people are. Of course, for test servers and stuff, you have something else, but in that live directory, you have a logs file, and there you just find combat logs, and this filter will automatically only show you the combat log files. So you select it. Typically what I do with the output file is just copy this information and change the file type to CSV, and this is a comma separated variable, and then you press convert to CSV, and that way you get your CSV. It doesn't give you an indication that it's done, which maybe not is super nice, but the button comes back up, and that's enough of a feedback for now. Anyway, let's load up this CSV, and I'll show you how to use it. So when you, and this loads also a lot quicker. So when you open the CSV, you get this. It's still not very readable, but what you can do if you use Excel, of course, other spreadsheet programs will also work this. But what you can do is you select column A, then you go to data, you do text to columns. And if I go too fast, just pause the video. You do delimited. Next, make sure to select semicolon, and you can already see at the bottom here that you get nice columns. And then you just press finish. And what happens now is Excel will split up these columns in a nice way. You select columns A to K, then you hold shift and you double click on one of these lines here, and that will make it so that everything is nicely spread out. What I also like to do at this point is go to home and center everything, but that's personal taste. Then I select the first row, I say view, freeze panes, freeze top row, to make sure that that row always is visible. And then I also like to add a filter on all the items of the first row. Then as a last step, I just select column J, which I added myself. It's actually not in the combat log. Right click on the content, you say format cells, and then I say you make it into a percentage. So you get the efficiency in here, which is also shown in ACT. And now you have all the data here. And what you can do is you can select someone here in the attackers. For example, let's just take an enemy, a beholder here. And you can see directly which attacks the beholder does. It has a bite, eyes of the beholder, central eye, another couple bites. And you can see what kind of damage this does, what kind of efficiency. You can see if it crits, when you have more data, of course. It could be that you don't see it here. Here's combat advantage. But yeah, you can see exactly what attacks everything has. And of course, if you have more information, you have a much better indication of what is going on. Here we have also a zealot, wraith. Oh, here we have a lot of information for the wraith. You can see here the attacks that the wraith that is life drain and shadow bolt. And you can also, if you also only want to see life drain, you can see it here. And life drain does, well, it does about 8,000 damage. And it seems to never crit. Well, that could be, of course, because we have our crit severity capped, but yeah. I'll add the details of the analysis of this information to you guys. So this is how you use it. I think it's very, very convenient. You can also, one more thing, let me go here. What you can also do is if you select everything or just one attacker, what you can do is you can see what the kill blows are. What you can do is go to this tag filter, text filters, and then say contains and then kill. And then you get all of the kills in here. You can see that I'm also in here. I killed some snipers with electric shot. I can say I only want to have my kills, so let's make this melee. And you can see all the kills that I did in this combat log, if you want that. So that's a quick and dirty guide on how to use this CSV. When you want to save this, make sure to not save this as a CSV, because a CSV is a very basic file. Make sure to save this, save as, let's do it here, and then save it as a Excel workbook, and make sure to pick the XLSX, because the regular XLS has a limitation of rows, and typically a combatlog has more than that. So you just pick here this XLSX, and now all these filters that you added and the split up of the rows is also in the file, instead of that you get the first version that we had to split up again, because that's what the CSV is. Anyway, that's it. I will make this version available so you guys can download it and have fun. If you have any remarks on this video or any suggestions on what to investigate next, feel free to leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.